So before getting into the section, I'll just explain to you why we have to learn this off first of all. So as you all know, we are moving bit like we are moving along with the vibe coding setup currently, right? So have you guys tried vibe coding ever with any of the A like GPT or Gemini or anti-gravity such tools or Claude?
I didn't try.
Oh, okay. So have you used AI or you are not it still?
Chat GPT only, not cloud and all. We are not used.
Understood. All right, no worries. So basically, the concept it seems like if you're using an AI or if it doesn't using an AI, or if you know the concept, for example, if you come into the test cases, you can take like authentication flow. If you want to check the authentication flow, what you have to do, you have to first know the concept of what are the things are there. There is two-step verification, or is the validation of the fields are visible, if the field labels are correct, and we need to make user how the user flow is going to be. It's a session driven or not, so all this we know. So we need to make all this into a code. Today, it's pretty easy that if you know the concept and what to do in which language, you can make a white code with the GPT, or you can directly make a conceptual code, or you can get the reference from any of the sites. But if you're getting anything, you should need to know what is there in that basically. So to know that, you need to know the basics. For example, if you are reading the English literature or English paragraph, what is the first step we did? We have learn about the letters of English, then we can able to know like what are the paragraph and what are the messages. We can able to read it, right? So as the same way, this also goes. So if you learn this JS basics and the concepts of what is there in the code and what are the things are there in the code, then you can easily able to build your own concepts for your own theories, like authentication flow or whatever the flow that you're going to make a playwright testing on. Okay. So I just quickly jump into the things. Let me make a slideshow. Okay, so let's start with the variable. So as per Sean told, like variables are pretty straightforward. It is the container that stores the value in it. Okay. For example, like how we call Shavan or how we call Haripriya, we just call her name to identify her, right? So the same purpose, the variables are used in the JavaScript. Okay, it's as far as it's the same. And as per Shavan told, we have a three types of variables basically. He told on let and const, right? So there is another variable also we often use, which is called var. But the problem is in the tutorials or in the videos you're referring to, they are saying like the var is not often using. But if you're seeing in the real-time code projects, the var will be used, okay, because that has a certain purpose. For example, I'll first tell you why they are not using the var for often cases. The reason it seems here, are you seek an example like var name equal to rom. I declared a variable, then I make a console log of it. It just written rom, so it's fine. But in later stages of the code, if I mistakenly I imagine that I doesn't declare this variable, so I declare a variable again. Sorry, I declare a variable again and I'm giving a different name. Then it start reassigning. It start redeclaring the thing. For example, the name variable it's replaced with the value of Ram instead of Kumar instead of Ram. Okay. So what happened at this case is it seems like if you're defining this variable in the top and in the mid, you feel you change the variable or you make the variable to a different value, then it been collapsed. Okay, and mainly for example, if someone is able to crack your system, someone able to make a mock on your system, they just simply what they can do, they just make the variables updated to what they want and they can use it. So this is considered as a not security, like more security purposes we doesn't use this var. Okay, but we can use it at some cases where it needed. Okay, for example, if I want the global variable need to be declared and the global variable is just going to be changed like for the purposes like if I'm going to declare like a OTP, the OTP going to change for every 5 seconds or every 2 seconds, then I can declare it in this way and I can use for loop to make the alteration. I mean, I use for loop to just make a iteration to change these things. Okay. So I'll just run you with the examples as well. Have you guys tried that online editor any for JS or any other, I mean, any other stacks? Guys?
Wrong.
No, wrong.
Not
No, no.
Okay, fine. So for JavaScript, as I told, you can use Visual Studio to have the things and node module set up to make the things run in the terminal. But instead, I would suggest on learning these basics, we can use like this online editor so that what happen in the sense, if I have a code here, it automatically show you the output here when I'm hitting the run. So you can able to you can also easily able to check this in your systems. Okay. Okay, so let me try ones like, for example, I'm just giving like a var. Let's call team name equal to. Sorry, I forget to define save the syntax. See, guys, basically the declaration of the variable in JavaScript is pretty straightforward. So you have to declare a keyword, var or let or const. You have to declare a keyword at first. Then you have to declare what is the name of the key. For example, I'm calling you Shavan as Shavan. So his name is Shavan, right? So I need to declare like var name of the team member equal to Shavan. So name of the team member is the key where I can able to identify the Shavan. Okay. So that is the one. So I have to declare the key, maybe whatever the keys that you want to give. Then we need to declare a variable. Here I'm just giving like Playwright. Then I'm just making a console log for now. And this console log is just to log whatever we need to see on the debug mode, guys. So hopefully, you guys, I think Shawan is pretty aware of the how Java works, right, Shawan?
yes, Ram. Yes, Ram. Yeah.
So we have a printf there, right? The same concept is coming here for the console log. Okay.
The, we have to give semicolon also, right, at the end.
Yeah, we can use semicolon, but in JavaScript, the semicolons are not considered as a very strict rule. But in Java, I think it might be, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
Yeah. So in JavaScript, it doesn't consider as a strict rule, but it follows the code looks neat. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just make a variable declared and I stored a value called playwright. Once I'm calling this key value, the value, I mean the key, the value of that variable will be output over here. Okay. So this is one of the thing of var, and coming to the next part, which is let. So yeah, so as per Shan, you told like let is the most often using things because the reason is let will be like a scopic value. For example, I told you in the start, right? If you're declaring the value in the start and you can able to change it, or the hackers or the small practices like they can change it in the middle to make the system crack it easily. But let will not work in such way. For example, as you see here, here I'm declaring a function. So if you not aware of this function, just ignore, just see the things alone. As you see, the var employee equal to Rom. I declare the name as Rom. Then I'm just checking like if true, just I'm giving a boolean to true automatically just to come into the function. And I'm updating the employee name to Kumar. In the same function, I made the Rom and I'm applying the same name into Kumar again. Okay. So what it happens, in the outside it print like a Ram and it inside it print like Kumar, but both the variables are same. Okay, I'll just show you these things in real time. I'm copying the same code again. Just paste it here. Okay, while I'm running this, as you see, the inside block is returning Kumar. Sorry, inside block is returning Kumar, and the outside also it will return Kumar. The reason it seems I updated the variable, right? But what I did, I updated inside this if block. But if I imagine like if I just giving like if the person is under 18, I need to update the variable. If it not like எனக்கு ஒருத்தவங்க 18ல இருக்காங்கன்னா it will update the variable. Then it will auto update for all the previous persons as well. It will not be the scoping. Okay. All right.
Hello.
Yeah.
That outside block, why it is Kumar Ram?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for the var, how it works, if you declare this in the common, correct, at the top.
Okay.
So it takes as a global variable. Then while this, I'm just giving like if true in the sense it will pause for all the cases. I'm just making this pause for default and
Okay.
it get into this block. So in this block, I am updating the same key value to different value, correct? I am applying the for employee to a different value, right?
Yes.
So what it happened, it changes the value of the employee for a permanent because it declared the same thing in the global. Now I declared in the global, then it changes wherever I updated inside the function or outside the function. It doesn't check those things and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the reason most of the things like most of the person wouldn't prefer to use var, but in some of the cases you need to use it because you need to declare some of the dynamically changing variables while you're working on it. Okay.
So instead of true, if I give false, then in that case it will be Ram in both the consoles, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Haripriya, are you able to understand these things like how the var works?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Cool. Then coming over to this let, the let is doing the same role but in the scopic level, as you see. Okay, first I run these things. I'm making the same program, but I just changed the names of. I just changed the variable type from var to let alone. I'm not changing any other things here. Okay. But what happened? It making a scopic. For example, if I declared here in the same function and I'm updating outside of the function, it takes the value which is not in the scope. This if is a scope. Okay. If is a completely different block. And this is a different block. That's how it considered. Okay. Wow. And for the if it considered as a it's a separate new variable. For that it giving like a Kumar. Okay, so basically, the var will not seeing the scope of the things. It will not check the block of where it is, and it updated in the global way. But the let will check in the scope wise. If it is in the particular scope, then it will work around the particular scope, not outside of the particular scope. Okay. So you are you guys able to get these things or I'm audible, right?
Ram, can you please explain one more time?
Sure, sure, for sure. See, simple. So, okay, I just make the changes here itself. So when I'm giving var, what happened? It changes the values. Actually, what we call as a scope in the sense, the things which are in the curly bracket, inside the curly brackets is called as a scope. Okay. I mean, you can consider it as a separate block. Okay, well.
Okay.
So this is my main block and under my parent block, I'm having this child block. Okay. So what happened if I declared the variable ROM in the main block and I'm updating it in the child block, then it get updated overall. Correct? But if I'm using a let, what happened now? I'm using this. Then see, if I'm using a let, what happens? So it just taking the blockwise scope. If it is in parent, then it only reflect in the param level. As you see, that outer block is ROM. Correct? And if I'm updating the things inside the inner scope, which is the child scope, then it takes only the child level value. So if I'm updating here like employee as Kumar, then it takes employee inside alone. It will not work in the outside. The real-time use case, as you imagine, like you are in the college or you are in the school, and you are going to make the person mark. Okay, for example, let's imagine like student is Ram, and I'm going to declare like if I'm giving like a mark as let mark pass to 10. Okay, I'm giving like a 10. So my real mark, I'm declaring it mark equal to 5. Okay, so I'm just making like a mark equal, sorry, less than or equal to mark pass. I think less than, not equal. Less than mark pass, then I have to make this let student status equal to fail. So is less than, then I'm declaring it to fail. Else false. I need to make this variable. Actually, this is a wrong code, but I want to show you the example, so I'm just using this. So let's consider this. Okay, if I'm running this, as you see, what I given, the mark I'm giving is 5, correct? So what happened now? It will not get into this condition because the mark is less than the mark pass. The margin was 10, but it is less than the margin, so it is not get into this block, and it come to this block. Then it automatically change the status from fail to pass. Correct. Because the reason inside I declared this variable again with the same variable name, like the student status. Okay, but if I'm using like var instead of let all over here, okay, I think I'm making you okay, don't think of this. I think I'm making you confuse a lot. See, I'm just getting into the first example. I'm just explaining you with this example itself, Haripriya. Just a minute. I think I'm making you confused with the Lord. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. So Haripriya, I just explain you one by one in this. You just let me know if this understand, or if you getting stuck anywhere, just give me the things. Okay. So as you see, first I'm declaring like employee equal to Rom in the top, right?
Yeah.
As I said, it is a scopic level. So what happened? It come into this scope, correct? If like, because if is defaultly true, okay, so it allows to come inside. And here also I declared the same variable name, right?
Yeah.
That employee. So what happened? So it, but considering to the let, what it happened, it take like a scopic. For example, இப்போ நான் வந்து இந்த ஸ்கோப்புக்குள்ள டிக்ளேர் பண்ணியிருக்கேன்னா எனக்கு இந்த ஸ்கோப்புக்குள்ள இருக்கிற வேல்யூவை தான் எனக்கு நியூ வேல்யூவை கன்சிடர் பண்ணும் இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆஃப் கன்சிடரிங் திஸ் குளோபல் வேல்யூ. புரியுதா? ஸோ இப்போ நான் வேர் டிக்ளேர் பண்ணேன்னா அது எனக்கு குளோபலா எடுத்துக்கணும். நான் வெளியில டிக்ளேர் பண்ணா அதை என்னால உள்ள எந்த பிளாக்ல வேணாலும் சேஞ்ச் பண்ண முடியும். சரியா? ஆனா நான் இப்ப லெட்ல டிக்ளேர் பண்ணிட்டேன் அப்படின்னா அது எனக்கு ஸ்கோப்ல அதாவது எனக்கு ஸ்கோப் பேஸ் பண்ணி ஒர்க் ஆகும். என்னோட பேரண்ட் ஸ்கோப் அதாவது எனக்கு இது ஒரு ஸ்கோப் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா இங்க எனக்கு இதுதான் வேரியபிள். அதே இப்ப நான் உள்ள வேற ஒன்று டிக்ளேர் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னா அங்க எனக்கு அது மட்டும் தான் வேரியபிள். லைக் எப்படி சொல்றது, இப்ப வந்து உங்களுக்கு வீட்ல ஒரு நேம் இருக்கு, தென் உங்களுக்கு காலேஜ்ல இன்னொரு நேம் இருக்குன்னா நீங்க வீட்ல இருக்கும்போது அந்த நேம் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. காலேஜ் போகும்போது தே கால் யூ வித் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் நேம். how they mention to call in the colleges, கரெக்டா? அதே ஸோ அதே மாதிரி தான். ஸோ இது பிளாக் பேஸ் பண்ணி ஒர்க் ஆகும். ஸோ உங்களுக்கு சிங்கிள் பிளாக்ல இருக்குன்னா அந்த பிளாக் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இந்த பிளாக்குள்ளே இப்போ நான் எம்ப்ளாயை சேஞ்ச் பண்றேன்னா ஐ எம் மேக்கிங் த சேம் எம்ப்ளாயி டு நியூ வேர் தென் நான் அந்த பிளாக்குக்கு வெளியில சேஞ்ச் பண்ணனா எனக்கு சேஞ்ச் ஆயிடும். பட் எனக்கு பிளாக்குக்குள்ள சேஞ்ச் பண்ணா எனக்கு சேஞ்ச் ஆகாது. புரியுதா?
ஓகே.
Like you can able to understand a bit on what is this, right? Like scope எப்படி ஒர்க் ஆகுன்ற அளவுக்கு புரியுது இல்ல?
எஸ்.
Okay, don't worry. Like உங்களுக்கு further examples நீங்க பார்க்கும்போது you can able to understand it bit more as well. Okay.
Thank you.
And coming to this again, and this is a very important variable type which is const. So as how Shavan told in the start, this const is usually used for the static values. For example, if you're going to use an authentication key in the system, and what you have to do, you need to declare this in the const variable because the authentication keys are very secure. So what happened when the hackers or when someone want to update the authentication key in the mid level, it won't allow. For example, as you see in this, I'm giving like country const country equal to India and it return India. So then again, I'm just trying to update the same value to Japan, but it's showing like assignment to const variable is an error. It's a type error. Okay. I can showcase you here as well. Here I'm making this employee to const, and inside itself I'm just having this variable updated to Kumar. Right? Sorry, this is also scopic. Okay. Okay, I try to make it updated. Okay, so let's see what happened now. So as you see, it throwing an error because I am already declared the common variable. I mean the constant variable employee equal to rom in the top, right? So while I am trying to making this employee updated to a new variable again, or inside even a scope you see, like it is throwing an error in the 7th line. So as you see, I'm trying to update this variable to different. Even inside the scope, it throws like an error. Assignment to const variable is not accurate. So this is the reason the const will be the most powerful because we often used to have the key values or often used to have like in the test cases you have like this code you need to have for this particular case. So those core values, all these stuffs you can declare, you want to declare it in the const, then only it will be like a prevention, so no hackers or nobody can change it in the middle. Okay.
Ram, I have a question.
Yeah.
So whichever the variable is, like let or const or var, first time when we declare a variable, then only the variable should be provided, like const should be there, and later wherever we give, only the variable name should be sufficient.
Yeah, it will be sufficient. Here also I did the same, right?
Yeah, inside it is not required, right? Const employee. And
yeah, exactly. It don't require. So it need to be declared at the first. It's pretty much fine.
Okay.
But you need to be very conscious with the cases because, for example, if I'm declaring like an employee here and I'm making this E changed into capital letter, it bypasses and it throwing me error in only the 11th line because it is considered to be a different. This is in the lower case. This is starting with an uppercase. Okay.
Uppercase. Okay.
Understood. Cool. So Haripriya, are you able to get these things?
Yeah, Ram.
Yeah, super. I think.
So Ram, so wherever the data needs to be protected, we need to use this const, right?
Yeah. So actually, the
Okay.
const will be like a fixed value that can't be changed in the middle of the program or anywhere of the program after declaring.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Rakesh, are you also able to get the things right? Or you having the things like
Yes,
blocking
yes.
somewhere?
No,
Okay. Cool. Okay. I think now we are going to summarize this things till we saw. So basically, these are the types of variables which we having in the JavaScript, guys. So var, let, and const. As I already told you, var can be reassigned. Let also can be reassigned, but not in the not based on the fully. It based on the block wise, as I showed you, right? In the if block, it can be reassigned, but in the main block, it can't be. Okay. And coming to the var, you can make it redeclare anywhere in the program. So that's what many of the JavaScripts are avoiding var to make the security things. And coming to the const, once you assign, you can't able to reassign it or you can't able to redeclare it anywhere. Okay. Yeah. So until this variables, if you are having any of the doubts or we need to have anything practice or we need to check anything on this for the variables, guys.
So only these three variables we need to practice from in
Exactly.
terms of
These
JavaScript.
are
Okay.
the variables which are used in the JavaScript, not any other.
Okay. I see in Java we have different for different data types we have different keywords like integer for numbers and characters for
Those are
alphabets.
okay. I mean in JavaScript, I mean Java, you have to declare a data type
Yeah.
instead of variables. Okay, understand. But
Yes.
these are the variables where you can able to declare any of the data. For example, in where I can declare string, integer, or a tiny int, whatever I want, I can able to declare it. Only this
Okay.
scoping of reassigning and redeclaring will be changed over the places.
Okay. Got it. Wrong.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys. So on coming to the data types, which is our next topic. Okay, let me explain it in a bit for short. So before getting into this, I think how you guys are came from the tech side, and hopefully Haripriya is also came from the computer science background, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard about these data types in your colleges and in your workplaces as well, right? So can you we'll go around the room and you guys first told me what is your understanding of what the data type is? Because it's going like a full of theory. So when you have this interaction, I think like it may be a bit of refresh.
it it says like what kind of data can be stored in the variable, like whether it is a number or a string or a float, anything, boolean.
Yeah,
Am I?
that's a key value of the thing. Super.
Huh.
And rest of the team, you have like any different opinion on how the data types or what are the data types that you previously checked or heard or tried out? Okay, no, cool. Okay, let me explain it. So as per Sean told, yeah, so where data types are the one which declare the type of the data used on the variables. Okay. So in JavaScript, the data types are split into two different types. One is primitive data type and another one is non-primitive data types. Basically, the primitive data types, that is the one that we can't change it directly. For example, is I told you, right? We have like fixed values of const and for example, the key values, which are the things which we, for, okay, I'll tell you these things. Uh, if I'm going to have this const as ROM, sorry, var even, as ROM, then if I'm changing this employee here to a integer. Okay. So basically the first one, it will be RAM, and then I changed the variable to integer. So what happened now? It keep changed. So returning the integer value because it is var, but the problem is, for example, if I'm checking this variable with the string concatenation, for example, I'm checking this employee equal to 12 in the string, then it get failed. Okay. For example, if I'm checking it like if employee uh, greater than, sorry, employee equal to I think I need to do it in such way where first I need to declare an integer, then I need to change it to default. Okay, I'm just making a simple, I'm just showing you a simple concatenation here. Console log, and what I'm going to do now, let's consider this as a data1, and we make this as a data2, and I'm declaring it in a separate variable. Okay, so both these are different, right? So if I'm trying to make it like data1 plus data2, it keep the string concatenation. It just combine the values, because what happened, this 12 is a integer, but it won't consider this as an integer because we are making this with the string. Okay, so the thing is, seems like, okay, I'll just get into all this, then you can able to understand this. So first I'm covering the each type in separate, then I came to this definition. As you see here, okay, basically these are very general, and as you guys know, the string is basically stores the value of string which is in the double quotes. Okay, and the number is the one which we store. Actually here the numbers we just consider as numbers, not like integer or float as a separate one. We just have number as a data type because we don't need to declare any keywords, right? So we just consider numbers, and instead numbers we can have like integer and float value. All these things comes under there. Okay, and coming to the boolean, so we have only two types of values, which is true or either false. So it will be like a switch. If you're on the switch, the fan gets triggered. If you off the switch, the fan get off. So that works in such way. And coming to this, actually these are the very often using data types, because these are the real-time used data types, and these are the one which we use, but not in like very often. Okay, so for example, undefined. So what happened in the sense, if you doesn't know the value in the start, for example, if you want to make the student to a, okay, let's imagine like this. If you're going to the ATM, then it asks for you the verification, right? You doesn't know the verification pin, then at the start what you have to do, you need to define it like a undefined until you get the input from the user. What is that? Okay, so undefined is the one which is nothing, like, I mean, which is not declared, or it's a wrong one or something like that, which we doesn't know. That's, yeah, that we call as undefined. Okay, and null is the one variable which is also used for the same purposes, like if I'm not know the value in the start and I want to start it with a null or a empty value 0, such set. All right, and big int is the one which we use often when we're having like a bigger integer value. For example, if you're having this value, as you take this is a very long integer value. So as like these cases, we are using a big int, but most often we doesn't use a big int for the real-time purposes. Okay, we mostly use the string, number, boolean, and this undefined and null for some of the cases. Okay, I think I'm moving in fast.
Ram, can you go to the slide primitive versus non-primitive. I just want to know what is the difference.
Okay. So, okay, I'll just show you this. Now I'm explaining you the primitive data types, right? As you see, string and
Yes.
the things. As you see, all this are just a single value. For example, even here, as you see, this 12 is a single value, right?
Yes.
And this 34 is a single value. So these are the primitive data types. So the primitive data types are the single values, and those are immutable, which is we can't change it directly. For example, as I already told, this is the integer value and this is a string value, right?
Correct. Correct.
If it doesn't give the integer value here, it doesn't perform the arithmetic of some option here. It instead performing the string concatenation, which is illegal, right?
Right.
So that's the thing which is coming under the primitive. But coming to the non-primitive, I explain this how it looks, then you can get a better understanding.
Okay.
So this is a non-primitive. Have you guys heard about JSON or object? I think you all can hear about array, right? Have you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So array is the one which we often using in Java as well. See, in array, why we want to use array? What's the major purpose that we get into array?
To store the list of values, arrange
Exactly.
them. Yep.
Yeah. To maintain multiple values, we are getting to this non-primitive data types like array. As you said, we have to store a list of values. We can use this. Or in JavaScript, the most often using data type is object, because this object is considered as a very fast retrieval procedure. Okay. As you how I'm saying this since have you see like this block level, we have a curly brackets and we have the key values. The name is the key and rom is the value. Okay. This age is the key again and this rom is the value. What will happen here? The name is the string. This age is the integer value, correct now? So we can combine all the primitive data types into a single one, which is coming under this non-primitive data type. Okay. As you see, like in the object, I can store whatever that I need. For example, if you, okay, let's consider it as a college. In college, there are 50 students. And in for 50 students, I need to maintain a record. So what I can do, I can make a simple object. In the top, I can have like a, okay, I just showcase you that. So let's imagine like a college is a thing and in the object it get into. So let's have like a class name as I'm just giving like a 12 for now. And under this what I can able to do, I can have like a students as a separate object inside and I can store all the values of each students here. I can store it like name, let's call comma. Yeah, and you need to make this separated with this comma. This is very important because this will make the separation between this key and this key. This is considered as a separate key. This is considered as a separate key value. Okay. And I'm giving like argument to 90 and it goes like mark 2 to 25. It goes in such way. So as like this, I can declare all the students in the same data. So what happened if I pass this data into any of the applications or things, it just get these things and make the things process. Okay, so within the single variable, I can able to send even all the class details with the proper segregations. Okay, well, basically we are
Yes.
calling this as a, yeah. Tell me guys.
Yes. So basically, like primitive data types will store only one value, and non-primitive will store multiple values. And
Exactly.
primitive cannot have multiple values, but non-primitive can have a single value also, like primitive values also.
Non-primitive can have like multiple primitives.
Multiple primitive values, as you
Yeah.
declared. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Okay.
as you see, this is the string, and I'm using. I think I need to use the integer here. So these are different primitive values, right? This is a string, and this is an integer. I'm combining it together.
Kind of nested. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So it's basically we call these things as a key value pair, guys. Okay. This is a often using name for this, or objects, or we calling this structure as a JSON. Okay. All these are pretty state in the point. Okay. So Haripriya, Shavan, and Rakesh, have you also understand this, like what is non-primitive and what is primitive?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir. Little bit.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I will give you the exercises today to just have, like, I just give you like 10 to 15 exercises to cover for this data types and variables so that you will get a nice understanding in that as well.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
cool, guys. So fine. Though this is the object and this is array. So array, as you all know, we can store multiple values, but the problem in the array, it seems, you need to store in a single primitive. For example, in object, I can store like a string integer in the same, but in array, we can't do that. We need to store the same primitive data type. If I'm using a string for a single array, I need to store only the strings. If I'm using a integer, then I need to store only integer. Okay, but there is array of JSON, okay, which club all this together, but I don't want to make you explain now to get it confused. I'll explain that in the later stages with the real-time examples. Okay. Then coming to the functions, so functions also you just I'll just give you the short one. You don't make it too confusing because this function is a one big topic which I get you in the later of the sessions. But for now, this functions is the one which we already tried this, right? As you see, I'm declaring this function in the top, and I'm just calling this function. This get executed, correct? Okay, let's imagine in such way. I need to calculate the mark of the students. Okay, I'm having a formula where if the student crosses above 30, they get passed, or below 30, they get failed. Okay, then what I have to do if I'm having a 50 students, for 50 students, I need to calculate the same formula, correct? So instead of doing that, I declare the formula in the function. And in the function, for example, okay, let's consider this as a things, and I'm having like a mark 1, mark 2, and I'm getting the value of a, b. So mark 1 is a, mark 2 is b. Okay, I'm going to make a summarization of these things. For example, here I'm just going to just make a sum of these two variables. Okay, so if I need to use this exact code again and again doing the sum for different variables, what I can do, I just simply pass this values 4 comma 5, and I'm just copying this and just have it like a 7 comma 5. Then I'm running. Oh, sorry, I missed to do update the variables. Or you can just simply have like a plus b. You don't want to declare even because the function declaration itself will have a auto declaration. So if you run this, you get the two outputs, correct? So basically the functions are the one which can be reusable. I mean the reusable codes can be prevented. For example, if I use the same concept for multiple pages, I can have it in a separate function. I can reuse it wherever I want. Okay, it's to avoid the code duplications, like code level duplications and the concept level duplication. To make the overload, we are using these functions. Okay, well, so have you guys get an understanding of what is, because it's not primitive data types which we won't often much more needed, guys, because I think all you're from the computer background, you hopefully know the primitive data types pretty well until this undefined and null and big int. But this non-primitive data types, I think it's new for you guys because you are getting know the JavaScript from now, correct?
Yes, Ram.
Yeah, so that's what I'm making a brief out of it. But don't worry, if you're having any doubt, just ask me whenever you want. You can make a DM also in the WhatsApp. I can reply to you. But currently, you are having like you can able to understand like how the types will look and how the types will work for now, right? Or that itself, you having any queries? What happened? If you interact with me, then only I can feel that what I'm saying that you can hearing this stuff because we all are in online, right? So if it doesn't interact, it seems like I'm only the person is talking.
Ram, I
Yeah, tell me.
one scenario example. Like I'm working on a project. I have an application
Okay.
where there are different test scenarios. Like first scenario to be considered as login. Uh,
Okay.
okay, and then the second scenario is login plus adding the item to the cart, and
Mm,
then the scenario is login plus adding item to the cart plus payment. So
mm.
these scenarios are there in which the login is the common part. So the login function, I can, as you mentioned, I can function can be reused. So
Exactly.
this like for the first scenario login, I write the code, and then for the next two scenarios, I reuse it.
Exactly. That's the main purpose of the function. So you can write the code in the common function, I mean global function, and you can
Huh.
just call the function with just importing it.
Okay, does that mean it is global?
Exactly.
Okay, okay,
So
understood.
imagine like if you can have like a common JS page just to have the function, and you
Huh.
can import it like in how in Java you can import the plugins in the top, correct?
Yes.
As the same way you can import the function and you can use it anywhere wherever you want the function to be done.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Okay, and if you want the different parameters for different users, you can just pass the parameters how I'm passing it here, right? With the different values.
Okay, okay.
You just pass the user different values,
Uh,
then it works.
and later part, I think there will be a concept where or the values will be imported from a file also, right? From
Exactly, from the Excel file because there'll be a lot of user on the login.
correct. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool. So Ajit, Rakesh, you are having any things need a clarity this point?
No, Ram, I'm pretty much clear. So I'm able to compare that with Selenium. It's kind of method, the function logic, right?
Yeah,
So like that in Java, we have method. Inside the block, we have some logic and that can be reusable.
understood. Cool.
Yeah.
And Ajit, you are the one person who asked me like difference between the Selenium and the Playwright, right? Yesterday.
Yes. Yes, Ram. Yeah.
Yeah, the major difference is what we discussed yesterday. So it's a time consumption because
Yep.
the Selenium will work with the web drivers, so it's been slow for some time.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay, so let's move on to the next one. Hopefully it's going to be 9. So I'm just completing this session with this operators. Okay. So these operators are pretty straightforward, guys. So for example, okay, I just came as before. We'll go around the room, and you guys know about the operators also pretty sure in this lessons, right? I mean, in the college itself, there is a separate topic, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, so first you guys can tell like what's the operators are. Let's start with Hari Priya.
It performs an operation, no?
Okay, you can tell me like
For example, adding, uh,
mm,
subtraction, division, and then ternary operator,
Okay. Yeah.
assignment operator, logical operators.
Okay. Okay. I understand. Yeah. So basically, the operators are the one who performs an operation. Okay. I'm getting into the things directly. So as you see now, uh, before explaining this core concept, I explain all this method once, and I'm coming to this again so that you guys get an understanding. Okay, coming to the separate part of it. So as per Haripriya told, there is different type of operators. So the major operator which we are often using in the sense, which is arithmetic operator, which we often use with the numbers. Okay. So as you all guys know, these are the basics numeric operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication. We usually use in the programming node with the asterisk. Okay, not with the cross, with asterisk. And division also we just use like a cross. This is for common for max as well. And the modulus, so this modulus it's considered as when you're doing a division we get the remainder, right? For example, here if you're doing a division of 10 mod 3, which is like what happened when we divide the 10 by 3, 10 divided by 3, then 3 into 3 is 9, right? So the remaining value will be 1, correct? If you're doing a like how the mathematical division works, right? So as the same way, I'm not sure like how we can make this mathematical division here, but see, when you're doing a mathematical division on this uncertainty numbers like this, you will get the remaining values. Okay, that remaining value is the one which written when you're using this mod. Basically, where we using this mod often, for example, if you want to make a program to identify the what's that number called? We have a odd numbers, and what's the next number is even numbers. Okay. So guys, can you tell me which numbers are considered as odd numbered, which numbers are considered as even numbers?
135 odd number,
1357.
246 even number.
Okay. So why we calling these numbers are odd numbers and these numbers are even numbers?
Because when we divide by something, the remainder will be odd, and
The remainder will be 0. Then it
Zero.
considered as odd.
or 1.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is the main concept, guys. So for like this identification, we use the mod functionality. Basically, I would have a like odd and even number is often using examples for the mod operations. Okay. So if I'm giving like a value like where, okay, I'll just try to do it with an example. For example, if I'm just giving like, I'm just pausing. Odd number. I'm just pausing a value and I'm making if condition of giving just a mod 2 equal to 0. The number which is divisible by 2 and getting the remainder of 0 is considered as an even number, right? Console.log of sorry, is an even number, or else I'm just giving like a okay, shall we try these things with 4, 5? Oh, sorry. Not changing the function name again. And once I'm hitting that, as you guys see how this works out. So this is very, very general concept. So mostly this is the one real time example I can say I can often checking this things and stuff. But for rare cases, we are using this mod operations, not in the very often. Okay.
So Ram, that a dollar bracket A, we have to use that syntax, is it?
Yeah, it's a syntax, but basically what it happens when you're giving this, I'm not know about this symbol name, but when you're giving this symbol, you can declare the variables like this, so that it considered as a variable, and this is a string.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, so coming to this, and we have this exponent, but I won't think this exponent is also very often usable. But what it means, it seems, for example, it's a 2 power 3. So then what it happens, 2 into 2 into 2. So it multiple, it have like 3 2 multiple together. That's a thing. If I'm giving like a 2 in 2 exponent 2, then 2 into 2. Okay. These are the like mathematical operations which we use often. All right. And I think the times are going heavy, so I'm just stopping this at this point, and later the operators we continue from tomorrow. Okay. But until this, you guys are getting an idea of what we uh, explored till now.
Yes, Ram.
Okay. Can anyone summarize what are the concepts that we gone through this section today?